Exit full screen. This one's. All right, now let me move this thing. Oh, Roy, there's Roy. Hi, Roy. How are you?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Oh, good.
What happened to the Sunday meeting? I didn't see it on YouTube.
Oh, it didn't get to YouTube?
No.
Oh, gee whiz. It was supposed to have been. That was a good one, too. Hi, Marina.
Heck, gone.
Yeah. Well, it is. I will upload it again.
Well,
I'll
thanks.
upload it. Yeah, I am sorry. I thought there didn't seem to be any issues with it.
Yeah, I kept looking for it. I
Good.
couldn't. It didn't pop up.
Okay, well, I'll get it up there
Thanks.
as soon as we're done here. You know, I'm sorry. Well, anyway, how's Marina doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's the middle of the night, so
Yes, I know. Well, just feel don't worry about it. That's probably the best time to what is it they say? At night, all the fountains speak louder, and my soul is a bubbling fountain. So,
sounds
the
good.
fountains speak louder at night. So that's good. All right, Kevin is here. I am so sorry that thing didn't get loaded to YouTube. I don't know what happened. Anyway, Kevin is here. Hi, Kevin. Let's see. All right, and it is 6:54. So anyway, I might check to see while we're waiting, just for a minute or two. How have you been doing, Kevin?
Yes, I've been doing fine, thanks.
Great.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was just checking. I just heard that our Sunday meeting didn't get on YouTube, so I'm gonna check to see what happened. I don't know what happened. I mean, I'm waiting, and we can start right now. Marina, did you have a dream that you want to talk about?
Not especially, no.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, I'm having lots of dreams, but I'm just grabbing fractions of them.
Okay, that's fine.
Frustrating, but.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have had some pretty interesting dreams here too. Let's see. Well, I had this one dream that was where it was a pretty important dream, and it was one where there was 4 men, and I was one of the men, and there was one of the figures was Pan, or a Pan-like figure, and then there was 2, me and another person, he was trying to teach us the instinctive way of creative polarity. In other words, to be a very a someone who can give birth or produce the divine child, let's say, and he's teaching us. And then there's a 4th man in black that we didn't see, and there is a mysterious woman in black that is there, and she is supposed to be the focus of all 4 of us. But Pan, who's teaching us, says, "Oh no, now I'm overcome." And so he was overcome by his passion for this woman, and he's just on his hands and knees, and where me and this other guy were just weakly responding to her, and so I asked the Great Mother, I said, "I come to you filled with your images. What does the dream of the four men mean? Myself and another weak man, and then the bearded blonde Pan with his who was, you know, let's say just had a very you know, he was very virile, you know, and I'm not going to get too graphic. And he was even uncomfortable when it comes to life. And then this unknown man and the anonymous woman who is apparently able to waken this instinctive virileness in every man, you know, and then to probably, you know, have union. And I said, can you explain this image? And she says, the four is the four functions. You would be the intuitive, the other conscious but weak virility in yourself is thinking. So my two dominant functions are very uninstinctive because they're too conscious, you know. Okay. Then the manifest man, or the magnificent Pan, is the sensate. And he's my inferior function. And he has such a powerful virility of an almost divine quality. And it was close to the animal and to the instinctual. And he was, this was because he was so unconscious, so close to nature, so far away from consciousness, that instinct and nature and himself are all one. So, I mean, he is the creative polarity, you know, penultimate. I mean, there is no more creative polarity than him. And then it's only he who has the ability to unite with this goddess. And she was just this very quiet, demure woman in black who was quietly seen in the background, just, you know, doing not odd things, but just normal things. The fourth man is your undeveloped feeling function, and he's just missing, you know. So, and he wears a black suit, you know, which is your attitude towards the sensuous, towards eros, and towards feeling. In other words, it's not very colorful. You know, it's just there's no feeling in it. And the feminine needs the creative instrument. You know, this is the one who's very instinctive and close to nature. And she needs, that is the only seed in her that can produce the divine child. And, you know, Jung says that the human being is the stable where the Christ child is born. You know, the human being is the manger in which the Christ child is born. And, you know, I've always had this feeling, and I was just telling my wife this morning, or this afternoon, that you know, I was listening to a AA meeting today, and it was so full of genuine truth, because people were speaking of their deep wounds and their deep grievousness to people who'd suffered similar wounds, and it was just pure truth that was coming out of them. It was very moving, you know. And so my wife says, well, hi, Ivan. We're just talking about one of my dreams. But anyway, she said, do you have this deep sorrow and this deep grief, you know? And I said, Not really. I said, if you want to talk about deep, what I have is deep joy. And what I've always felt is, and that overcomes and overwhelms the sorrow. And of course, the thing is, I'm not very conscious of my shadow anyway, so that's a weakness in myself. And I wanted to say something to them while they were talking. They were talking about the amends, the ninth step, and but I didn't really feel qualified because of my lack of reality. Uh, the two things that you want to do with any image is one is verbal and one is nonverbal. The nonverbal is that our role as this ego who's dealing with the image is twofold. And one is to be the medium of expression of the image, of the dream image, which is nonverbal. I mean, you draw it, you color it, whatever, but you're the medium of expression. And you use the functions of sensation, of reality. Sensation is reality. And feeling is the function of this, an emotional attachment, okay? And then you provide meaning and clarity. Well, that's intuition and thinking. Okay, that's all I provide, is meaning and clarity. So I didn't really feel qualified to speak, of course, of my sorrow, because I have had sorrow, but I don't. It doesn't last because of my feeling of that joy is deeper than sorrow in me. And I guess the point is that every day in my life has always felt as if it was Christmas Eve. It's full of great expectation. And then I hear Jung say, that man is the stable in which the divine child is born. So if every day is Christmas Eve for you, every day is the day you're waiting for the Christ child to be born within you. You're the stable, you're the manger. So anyway, that was this dream. And hi, Gary. I was just kind of repeating this dream I had because we were just waiting for the thing to start. And it was just, I'll just recap it real quick, is that I was with a Pan-like figure who was very close to nature, and he was teaching us how to be virile and how to be fruitful as far as producing children, And then there was an unknown man, and then there was this woman who was to awake the virility within us. Well, me and this other guy were very just weakly responding to both the woman and to what this man was saying. But then suddenly he was so overcome and had such a powerful response to this woman that he couldn't even walk. He had to crawl towards her. And so then I asked in an act of imagination, what is all this? And the answer I got is the four are the four functions. You would be the intuitive. Well, that's my most conscious function. The most conscious function is the one that's farthest away from instincts and farthest away from the unconscious, And then the other one would be thinking, also very weak and of instincts. Its soul animal would probably be a chihuahua or some kind of a domestic bird. But the magnificent man is the sensate function. He's the unconscious function. And he is so close to nature that his response to the creative task, to be the creative polarity, is so powerful that he can't contain it, And his response has this divine quality It's very close to the animal, very close to the instinctive, to the unconscious, to the nature, and responsive to the anima. He's her creative polarity. So and this is the Great Mother speaking. It is only the one, he's the only, or that function is the only one who has the ability to unite with the goddess to produce the divine child. And you and thinking are weak and ridiculous. The fourth man is your undeveloped feeling function. He wears black, so, which is your attitude towards eros, to the sensuous and to feeling. It's just formal, going through the motions. There's nothing genuine about it, and the feminine in myself requires the creative instrument. And remember, Philemon told Jung, if you're a man, or don't look for the feminine in a woman outside yourself. Look for her within you. And, if you're a woman, don't look for the masculine outside yourself. Look for them within you, And so anyway, this is kind of an interesting dream, don't you think? I mean, so with the intuitive and thinking, you're not going to get much done, And then we talked about the, the ways, and the other thing is the only way that you can have to realize something rather than just know it. And that what I was saying about the AA meetings, I could have told them something about confronting the shadow, but I just know it. I don't realize it. I've never realized it because of my inability to really express sorrow. All I ever express is just deep joy, and the reason I do that is because my unconscious function is sensate. So I'm very far from reality. I don't have a very good sense of reality, well, anyway, so let's see if there's anything else. You're numbing, that I am numbing dwarfish poison when it comes to this sensate God, this beautiful dark anima is and are the way of the creative polarity, and not through your weak conscious functions, which she has no interest in, So anyway, does I don't know if anyone has any comments on the dream or not. Hi, Dawn. But that was my dream. It's kind of an experience, I guess. The one thing is that that the Great Mother has told me that unless any dream image has all four functions, and then after it has all four functions, that there's an appeal to the heart, and so in other words, the dream possesses this. It possesses feeling and reality. Okay, sensate. It's brought into reality, and it possesses. We have an emotional attachment to it, and the other thing is that it has meaning, which is the intuitive image that we provide, and thinking, which is clarity. And then after that, there has to be some kind of a, Robert Johnson said that we must do some right to honor the dream, But anyway, that was my dream. Does anyone have any comments? Otherwise, you can go on to the next dream. I think either Ivan, Gary, Dawn, Roy, or Marina, if any. Marina said she wasn't sure if she has lots of dreams, but she said so far they're just fragments, So, but I would say, Marina, if you would group the fragments, you might find, and then try to group them in a story, usually in groups of 4. There's something there. You'll find something. If you can take 4 fragments and put them together, they usually have something to say. Well, anyway, is anyone bursting at the seams with the dream?
I have a dream. I had
Okay. Yeah,
dreams.
go ahead, Ivan.
Yeah. I have one titled The New House, and I have one titled Luminescent Mushrooms.
Okay.
I'll do luminescent mushrooms because that one's
All
short.
right. The luminescent mushrooms. Okay.
All right. So 4 of us must escape from the Father. We are in a hurry. I already have a bag packed, and I have in parentheses from a previous dream ? I'm not sure if I already had this bag packed in a different dream. And I say, we escape onto a ship, like a boat. So we get off the boat. We are at a valley at night. It is a magical forest that is blue, green, and purple. There are luminescent mushrooms of some sort, and I realize they are very valuable and potent, but you cannot simply take them from here. And then it says, much of this forest seems to be privately owned. We happen across an inn, which also serves as a shop and bar. It is lively with many people, and we realize there is a competition to gain these mushrooms. A location is announced, and teams race to gather the mushrooms first. Our team is first to the location, but 4 or 5 teams get to the mushroom before us. We must adjust our strategy. And that's the end of the dream.
Okay. Now, can you repeat that? 4 of you left. What was the 4 of you left a seat with the Father, or?
Yeah, we have to escape from the Father.
Okay. 4 of you left to escape from the Father. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you already had your bags packed. Okay.
Yeah, or at least I did.
Yeah. Now you
It's unclear to me in the dream if I am an adult or a child in this dream, but it seemed also somewhat unimportant.
Okay, well, that is important, though, that it's uncertain. Your age is uncertain. Let's just say that there was no clear idea. And the fact that you were uncertain of your own age means that it is probably likely that you were in a more youthful state than you are now. I'm thinking that you said that. You have your bags packed. You escape on a ship. Is that right?
Yeah, like a big boat. And what I remember from it is like a big wooden sort of kind of like old-timey boat. Like, think like pirate boat or something like that.
Okay, so it's an ancient wooden boat. So as a vessel, it's made of rootedness, or rooted trees. So it's a vessel that's closer to the nature than a metal boat would be.
Yeah, it's like a sailboat.
Yeah, and it's also a sailboat. So it's powered by pneuma. It's powered by the spirit. So I mean, it's somewhat of a magical boat that takes you across the unconscious, and you get off the boat on an island. Now, what did you say about the island?
So I'm not sure it's an island, actually. It might be, but it's actually it's a valley. So I get off the boat, and we're in a valley, and it's a magical forest.
Okay, all right. The Vale Valley, of the magical forest. Now remember, the Vale of Tears, is the realm of the soul. Okay, it's not. There's not many tears up on the crest of the highest mountain. It's in the Vale of the valley. Dale, Dala. Those are all words for valley. That's where the magical forest is. And the magical forest, remember, Philemon Jung went to talk to Philemon to learn the secrets of magic, okay? And Jung said later that what the ancients, what he meant Philemon, called magic, we call psyche. And what it really is, it's the neither nor place. It doesn't exist, and yet it does exist. You know.
So I think something I omitted that is important is that it's at night still. So
and
we
it's at
escape
night.
So we escape at night, and we're also in this forest at night. But it
Okay,
doesn't
so
dangerous. It's it's kind of glowing in a way.
yeah, and night is illuminated by the moon and the stars. I don't know if any of you, and I guess Roy said we didn't post the video of the Sunday thing for some reason, but I will double check that. One painting by Lucian Freud, which had a night sky with no stars on it. Afterwards, I thought to myself, anyone that painted that night sky with no stars is a savage. They have no heart. You know, there's something about them that's absolutely vile. But anyway.
Well, they're seriously depressed.
Yes, there's something. You paint a sky with no stars? Really? I mean, that is such blackness. It just is it's like a sin to do that. Anyway, so it's night, you get off the boat, you're on this magical island, which means that, you're in the realm of psyche. So you're actually in the deep unconscious, but you're in the realm of soul, and it's at night. And I was telling Marina, it's night there in the UK. At night, all the fountains speak louder. Have you ever heard, at night, you can hear people talking across the lake. Suddenly their voices are very distinct, So anyway, so then you get off the boat, and there you see luminescent mushrooms. Okay. And am I missing something before that?
No.
Okay.
Just that everything is blue, green, and purple.
Blue, green, and purple. Okay. Green is the sensate function. Blue can either be thinking or just feminine. And the fact that they're luminescent means they shine of their own light. That they are radiant with the depths. There's something. They bring a light. Anything that's luminescent, is only shines in the deep depths of night. You don't see the luminescence in the day, and it also shines in the deep sea, the deep sea beds. Okay, so then you find. Is it a bar?
It's an inn. So it's like
an inn,
but it's like there's a shop there, it's a bar.
Shop, inn, and a tavern.
Yeah.
We would call it in the olden days.
Yeah.
It's an inn tavern, and it's just a place where travelers can find nourishment and something to do at night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then there's some people there, and they are talking about the mushrooms, and they're going to first of all, you weren't allowed to get the mushrooms. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah. So
at the first, you weren't allowed. You knew that you couldn't pick them, or what? What was that about?
What I wrote was, I realize they are very valuable and potent, but you cannot simply take them from here.
Yes.
And I wrote, much of this forest seems to be privately owned.
Yes, they're valuable and potent, but your conscious attitude is not cannot harvest these. You know that they're not allowed to. Now, that the forest is privately owned means that it is, this to me means you're not the master in your own house. There's it's always amazing, and you've had these dreams too, Ivan, of you're in a house and you don't know who the owner is. You don't know if the rent's been paid. You don't know what's going on. And you feel somewhat as if you're an intruder there.
I had a dream exactly like that right before this dream.
Well, that's exactly. See, now I have those dreams all the time. And you're the intruder. Where? You're the intruder here in this life, and that's what the soul tells us. You're my projection. I'm not your projection. You're here to teach me. I am going to learn something from you so that when you're gone, I can use that knowledge later. So, that's what Young Soul told him, that you are my projection. And remember his dream of where he walks in and sees the yogi in the temple before the flowers, contemplating, and he's surprised to see it's his own face. And he knows that when he's done, his soul is done meditating him. And remember, all of these dreams, I think, Kevin, you had these types of dreams too, where you see your double, but his eyes are more luminescent than yours. They are more not. They have this wise look, or there's some aspect. This is the self within. The self within is the center of our psyche, not the world psyche. And so each one of us has our own self in our own psyche, and it's not the transpersonal self outside of us. It's the one inside of us, the center, which we can't go by. And usually we see that as the wise old man or our self with a different face, a knowing face, some kind of. But anyway, you're an intruder here, in this place of the unknown owner. And there's 5 teams. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
there's 4 or 5 teams.
4 or 5 or 4?
4
or 5. Okay.
I think there's 5 including us is what it is.
Okay,
So
5 including you.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so there's a quote. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of that yet, but anyway, so 4 of the 5 team, they talk about how to get the luminescent mushrooms. And how many got them?
Well, it's a competition. So
Yes.
if you get there first and you retrieve them first, then they're yours. So
Okay.
they suddenly a location that we can go get them is made known to us, and it's like a race.
Who was there a successful team?
Yeah.
One?
Yeah. So we were the team I'm on with the people that were on the boat with me that escaped. We were the first to make it to where the mushrooms were, but we were unable to find or retrieve them for some reason.
Did anyone find or retrieve them?
Yeah, so one of the other teams all jumped in and got them before us, even though we were the first there.
Well, if there was 4 teams, it would be, so we could probably say more about it than if there were 5. 5, I'd be a little confused. But anyway, 1 team possibly found them, we're not sure. But at least the conscious attitude is not ready to collect these mushrooms,
Yeah, I was sure that one of the teams found them.
Mm-hmm.
So we see them win, and then we're realizing we have to adjust our strategy, and that's when the dream ends.
Mm-hmm. So let me just kind of quickly summarize it, and then we'll turn it over to everybody else. So it's the dream of the luminescent mushrooms. Okay, 4 of us left to escape the realm of the father world. So we're leaving the father world to go to the mother world, apparently. And where else would we go if we're gonna? To escape the father world, you have to go to the mother world, or the world of the feminine. Okay, and it indeed turns out to be the world of the feminine. You already had your bags packed, so that's there's something in there that tingles me a little bit. And then you escape on a ship. So you're going across the sea. You're going to the yonder shore. So how to escape the world of the Father? You go to the yonder shore. How do you get to the yonder shore? You traverse the unconscious. You use the transcendent function, the bridge. And in this case, the bridge is a ship. You know, the bridge can be a ferry. The bridge could be that you walk across the water. The bridge could be a bridge. But in this case, it's a ship. It's a sailing ship. It's powered by the wind, you know, powered by the Spirit, and it is a wooden vessel. So it's one of a rootedness, you know. Charles would be here, but he's, I think, working again. You know, he wanted to have a session, but I've been traveling almost all since like Friday, I think. But anyway, and that's why Roy, I haven't checked on that session yet. Okay, so anyway, so you escape on a ship from the Father world, and you get off the boat. You're in the valley, the veil of the magical forest. So that means there's mountains on the side, and there's a valley in between. You know, and so it's the middle place. You know, the valley is the middle place. You know, and there is the treasure hard to attain, okay, is in which shines of itself like gold does. Gold shines of itself. But this is not gold. It is a transforming substance. You know, it is a mushroom. This type of mushroom, I would think, has something to do with psychic transformation. And it shines of itself like gold. Okay. And then and let's just say for now, and I'll close. The other thing is I want to mention one other thing is that you are, you went, I think the fact that you seem to be possibly youthful means that you're starting over again. It's a new point of departure of leaving. You went back to being young again, and you're going to start over this life that you've led, you know. So it's a new start, a new point of departure, which is a very common image in dreams when there is supposedly when transformation needs to occur. Okay, so then there are at a tavern, at a gathering place, at the place of you know, it's sort of the middle place, you know, it's almost like the third place, you know. It's not your home, it's not your, there's an aspect of it's a meeting place, you know. It's almost like, it's like a pagan church in the forest. It's a tavern, it's an inn, it's rest for the weary traveler, you know. And there just happens to be other seekers of the treasure hard to attain in the magical forest on the yonder shore across the sea. And that they're making plans. You set out. Of course, you are exactly like the king's conscious sons, you know, his two favored sons. You set out, you don't find it. The one who finds it is the one who's closest to the magical forest or the unconscious, you know. So anyway, that's my first stab at it. Why don't you start, Roy, and if you have any comments on this.
Yeah, a couple questions. The 4 people that were on the ship, did you know them, Ivan?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Did you know these 4 people you went with on the ship? Or 3 people?
Yeah, in my dream, they're family. They're like siblings, I believe. But they're not I knew them in the dream. I didn't know them in real life. They're just kind of representative of something.
Probably relatives, siblings.
Yeah.
Okay. The other question is, when you first came upon the mushrooms, did all four of you come on the mushrooms? Or just
Yeah,
you?
we're all there together. I don't
Yeah.
recall them having any specific reaction though. Other than they're there, I don't really interact with them. I just kind of know that they're there.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's just one thing. I like what Greg said. It's just one of the thing angle that I kind of saw that I'm going to add is, okay, you escape the father, which is sort of an authority. You have a chance to get the mushrooms. There's nobody there. You discovered them, but you didn't because you thought it was private land and you needed permission or whatever. You go to the inn, which isn't the father, but it's like the collective. It's like you needed the collective to organize this to get back to the mushrooms. But the collective's going to trick you out of the treasure. They always do. And your authority's going to prevent you from the treasure. So it hadn't dawned on you yet what happens if you take the treasure. I mean, you came upon it first. Well, that's a difficult thing to discover for yourself and actually have the courage to do it.
Okay, great. Well, how about you, Marina? Do you have any comments on it?
Just thoughts really. Wonderful image, fantastic colours. Something about escaping, needing to get away from, as Roy said, the authority figure. But also in a state of readiness. You're in a state of readiness. Mushrooms are, you know, I wonder what, Ivan, what associations you have to mushrooms. I agreed with the conversation and how it was going around hidden treasure, the depths of the colours. They're luminous, they're luminescent, they'll only be illuminated at night.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, what do the mushrooms, what associations would you have to mushrooms?
I would imagine, I've never tried them, but I would imagine like my association to them would be like, my first thought would be that they're like, you know, like psychedelic mushrooms.
Yeah, yeah. So they have a mind altering aspect to them.
Right.
They seem to be a very special, where before, you know, the symbol of transformation, or probably the goal, was gold. These are not the goal, they're the means or the process of transformation. So gold, where gold would represent the goal of the process, the luminescent mushrooms would represent the process of transformation. I think. I mean, I think that's the difference. What do you think, Gary? We haven't heard one word out of you.
Just one more thing.
Oh, yeah, go
about,
ahead, Marina.
About, and I don't know what it means, but that then it becomes competitive. There's something competitive that happens. And you have to start drawing on thinking and strategy and logistics.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yes. Well, okay, go ahead. What do you think?
Well, okay, so you have the four, which could be like the four functions, and they have to escape from the father, which is the logos world. So it's like telling you, like, you know, maybe you need to turn your attentions to you know, to the feminine, to the interior world. So you have to escape. You're already prepared. You have the method to get to the place. And then you're in a valley, so it's a place of the soul, not of the spirit, which would be up on a mountain. And there's mushrooms there, but they're luminescent, and you realize that, you know, these can't just be used willy-nilly, that it requires, you know, a permission, an understanding, a particular approach. And then you find the place where it's determined, like, you know, who is worthy of the prize, who is worthy of the mushrooms. And so, you know, I agree with what Craig said. It's like, you know, you with the conscious, you know, you get there first, but you find that just being there first isn't sufficient. And the other teams, you know, they have an aspect which you don't. And I think this is, you know, I think this is what the dream is trying to teach. It's like, okay, you have the portal to get over there, but for the next transformation, mushrooms are transformative, it requires using a different function, i.e., you know, a different strategy. The strategy has to change. So you have a way to get over to where the soul work has to take place. The transformative things are there, but you need to adjust your strategy to use it. That's kind of how I would read it.
Yeah, that sounds really close. So one thing I think I might have left out that seems important based off of what you're saying is, in my dream, I recall that the bags were packed. I felt like really confident in what I had packed in the bag. But upon waking up, I realized it was kind of useless stuff that wouldn't aid me on my trip at all, or at least seemingly from my conscious mind, it wouldn't. I can't remember specifically what was in the bag, but I feel like I packed like only 4 or 5 things, and one of them was like a handheld video game console. So it was like, it was very useless stuff that I packed for this trip, even though I felt in the dream that it was really important stuff that I must take with me.
Well, yeah, that is a very intriguing part of the dream, is that your bags are already packed, you know, and I'm not really sure. I mean, that just stopped me. I wanted to know. I said, that is, there's something about that is just, you know, my bags were already packed, you know. So there was this earlier preparation for this. So the question is was this a spontaneous escape, or was it a planned escape? Because it seemed like you remembered your bags were packed. You didn't pack your bags in preparation for it. You just remembered they were packed. Is that right? I may get it wrong.
That seems right. I seem to remember in the dream, like maybe the time of the escape wasn't planned, but the escape itself was already kind of decided. It was just more so the opportunity had come up.
Mm-hmm.
And I also, like, when I was trying to revisit this dream, I don't remember in the dream like the father aspect being like evil or something that necessarily had to be escaped from, but it was all very agreed upon and decided that we must escape.
Yeah. If you ever watched Homeland, you know, who is the blonde girl? I forget what her name was, but she always had a bag packed with a passport, several passports from different countries. You know, maybe a few packs of $100 bills, you know, and guns and whatever. I mean, so in case she needed to make a quick getaway, you know. I mean, there was that kind of thing. Dawn, do you have any comments, or, you know, feel free. I just want you to know that my dreams are not as wise. Everybody's here's dreams are very wise. We're not very wise, you know, so it's dreams who are the stars here, okay? But if you do you have, like, say if this was your dream, could you say anything about it? I'm saying, Dawn, that was your dream. Would you have any comment about it?
I've never had a dream that involved. Mostly when I'm sitting here, I'm learning. Like there's dreams that I had way back that I never understood until I started coming here and listening to you all. So that's really what I'm doing. I'm listening to you all and learning a lot. I absolutely have nothing to offer. I'm very sorry.
That's fine. Don't worry about it. But I do think, though, that you do have, I want to tell you a little story just about something to offer. You know, first of all, James Hillman one time said one of the things he learned at Zurich is that even a stone in the river, everyone else has to flow around it. But Jung used to ask people, they'd have a dream about a caterpillar, and he'd say, well, what's your association with caterpillars? And they'd say, I have nothing to say about him. I don't know nothing about him. And then he'd say, well, what do you think I think about caterpillars? So, oh, well, I know what you think about caterpillars. And then they would tell everything that they think Jung thinks about caterpillars. So, I mean, that was sort of his jujitsu to see our conscious mind's a little resistant. So I would say, though, that when, you know, sometimes you just, I don't want, there's no need to feel inhibited is all I'm saying. But don't feel that you have to either, because, you know, I think as we go through sessions, you'll, it'll, something will come to you that you must say, okay? All right, well, Roy, does anyone else have any comments? Thank you, Dawn. And then I'll try to sort of summarize it. And I'll summarize it, and then we'll have another round. Has anybody got anything else to say before I try to make a final?
Well, you know, I wonder, and Ivan can comment on this. If you took the mushrooms when you first found them, or you took them, not ingest them, but just took possession, could there be, you could replace what you said with the fear of the dragon? It would replace the dragon.
So if I had hypothetically taken them at first,
Yeah.
would I be afraid of the dragon?
Yes. Think about that.
I don't know. I like the.
I mean, it's
The
a
only-
fairy tale. It's
Yeah,
a fairy
yeah.
tale.
In the dream, the thought never actually occurred to me of ingesting the mushroom. It was only the possession of the mushroom that seemed interesting to me.
But there was something, I mean.
There was some anxiety that he didn't take the mushrooms in his possession.
Yeah.
And now that he's conscious and he can reflect on it, how does that sound? That, whoa, you know, it might have been more than just the private landowner. It might have, the dragon might have emerged.
Yeah. It felt really. I don't think it was the fear of the dragon though. It was really more so this feeling that they just didn't belong to me. Like I was a visitor there, and it wasn't for me to just take them. Like not only would it be like they didn't belong to me, like I would be committing a transgression if I were to just take them.
Well, like you're going on an adventure. Doesn't sound like much of an adventure when you're so courteous and ethical. I mean, it's supposed to be an adventure, right? An
Right.
adventure. Okay,
No,
I'm just playing with you.
That's fair.
Well,
That's
well,
all
you
I
know,
got to say.
that task, I mean, you escape from the world of the Father, you go across the ocean, and you come to a magical forest, not just any old forest, and it's in a valley at night. Can you imagine? Just, I want everyone to think about this. You're on a boat, you're crossing water at night, okay? and you're trying to escape at the same time, okay, you get off the boat, okay? And hi, Tim. You get off the boat and you go in to the magical forest. There's luminescent mushrooms. Can you imagine this happening to you? I mean, the sense of wonder, and then sort of a dizzying feeling, and that knowing that, but almost innately knowing that your task now is to involves the luminescent mushrooms. You know, the luminescent mushrooms, Tim. That the dream. Just to summarize it real quickly. 4 friends. Ivan and 3 of his friends are escaping from the father world. He already had his bags packed. They get on a wooden sailing ship, go across the sea at night, come to a valley in a magical forest. They see some luminescent mushrooms there, but they are not available to them. Okay, and but they would like to get them, and they also have this sense that the forest is owned, privately owned, but by an unknown party, which usually means it's owned by the center of our own psyche, okay, not us. So in other words, the owner here is non-ego, not ego. It's the center of the non-ego. And non-ego is the nature aspect of us, of this life here, the one that's born and is going to die someday, has nature within it. And it's the owner of this is nature, not us, not ego. Non-ego owns this. It runs all our organs without us even thinking about it. Have we ever said thank you for that? You know, who's the owner of those? It's not ego. Okay, so the owner of the forest is the same one who owns these organs that work within us and allow us to ride on this vehicle up here in this head. You know. So anyway, they go to a tavern or an inn. So this is the pagan temple in a magical forest. You know, it's always a tavern or an inn. You know, and there are at least 3, possibly 4 other teams that are also interested in the luminescent mushrooms, the ones that shine of themselves, but only at night. Only in the unconscious do they shine. And they're interested in. Now, gold shines of itself, okay? But gold seems to represent the goal or the end, but of transformation. But the mushrooms represent the process of transformation itself. The process of transformation itself shines of itself, luminescent, and it shines only at night, shines only in the unconscious. Okay, so Ivan's team sets out to find, to acquire this magical medium of transformation, or the process of transformation. And the conscious attitude is not going to find it. I can tell you that in any fairy tale, the king's favored sons are going to fail. And Ivan's does not qualify as the one who can lift the curse or cure the enchantment at this point. So, but it is the task, you know, that's set before us. That's kind of is it in a nutshell. Kevin,
Can I-
yeah, go ahead, Marina.
no, I just wanted to add, you see, as an afterthought, and this is really important because it's the little fine details that aren't mentioned at the beginning. And Ivan, you said, oh, I forgot to mention. And now it seems really relevant what you packed in your bag. So your bag in readiness to make this journey and have this adventure was, the tools were like, oh, I didn't make the right decision. And that then links right back to the end of the dream, which is, oh, I need to change my strategy. And the bag, and I'm just playing with the material really, but the bag could be symbolic of the self. And the tools that you pack the bag with are aspects of, you know, your character, your life, your experiences, your decisions, all those things that go on. Yeah.
It seemed to possess Marina, and I agree with you. I mean, that when he mentioned that his bags were already packed, like I said, it was instantly my antenna go up. But Ivan said that it was packed with like Nintendo control consoles. So it was packed with the instruments of idleness, you know, and the instruments of non-seriousness, you know. So the bag that we've packed for this journey to the magical forest across the sea is filled with the instruments of idleness, you know, and non-seriousness.
That's a great point. Not only that, they're well, at least that one. I don't remember what the other items were. I've been trying really hard too, but the one, it's escapist, right? It's
Yes.
you are not paying attention to what's going on around you. You are focused on this other thing that's not real.
Yeah. And you know, a Nintendo game is you know, the candy of the ego consciousness. Anything to entertain us. It's very much like a drug or just watching television all day or anything to escape from the boredom of just vegetating, because that's the easiest route, you know, for our ego. It just doesn't want to do the work, you know. Okay, now Kevin and Tim,
Yeah.
maybe just you've heard, I think, everything we've heard.
Yeah.
So go
Yes,
ahead. Yeah.
Before I make some comments, I just want to hear Ivan's description of the mushroom.
That's a great question. So it was really bright, luminescent, like it glowed. And I remember it being mostly white, but sort of with a green tint to it. They were large, but still like mushroom size. Just I don't know, like maybe the size of this coffee mug.
Big ones.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds like a stupid question, but the luminosity, can you describe, can you say more about the luminosity?
You know, I don't know if you've seen these, like when I was a kid, I had these like glow in the dark stars that would be on my ceiling, and like it would absorb all the light during the day or from the, you know, the light fixture, and then at night you turn it off and they'd kind of glow. That's what it looked like.
Yeah. Okay, this movie for me is like an analogy of the movie Avatar. And the Avatar is sort of an escape from the father world. He has to sleep and he wakes up in this other world. And when he goes into this Avatar world, he encounters nature and spirit as a union. And for me, I think this is a nice description of the spirit. The spirit is self-illuminous. You know, it doesn't need anything to glow, and it just glows. It doesn't need anything. It's non-dependent, and also I also feel this seriousness, but also playfulness. So there is a sort of a union of different feelings as well. So there is a union going on in terms from emotional level. And I feel like, you know, you have different parts of yourself that is now working towards the same goal, and other parts of yourself is still in front of you. So you still consciously need to catch up. And yeah, and then the Nintendo and the control, like I said, this is an analogy to the movie Avatar, in which, you know, they go to a different world, but they need to sort of control the things from a secondary tool, if that makes sense. And so yeah, and this is also this luminosity spirit. I don't know if you have seen the movie How to Train Your Dragon. Have you seen that movie? Anyway, so How to Train Your Dragon, the two dragons finally have a union. You know, they finally come together and they become a couple. And they have to fly to a different place, like far in the ocean. And far in the ocean, there's a big hole. And in the big hole, they dive in. And inside this tunnel, there's like full of like self-illuminating plants and so on. So I think this is perfect description of, I would say, I could be wrong, of our true nature. You know, it's self-illuminating, is non-dependent.
How about you, Tim? Did you have any comments on it? Just
Well,
go ahead.
I didn't really get a chance to think about it. Gosh, it sounds like one of these, you know, really mythical, rich dreams.
Ivan's good at these.
I just want to listen to you guys talk about it because
Okay.
it's really rich, but I haven't thought about it.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I think, well, let me just do a quick summary. Now I'm going to do this is my dream. Okay. And so, you know, myself and three of my friends are escaping the father world. Okay. We're escaping because we know that this is not the place for us. You know, that it's oppressive and it's not conducive to to growth and to the growth that we need and the growth that we lack. Where the growth that we need and the growth that we lack lies is across the sea, across on the other side of the unconscious, and it's in really the valley of the magical forest, and that's the realm of soul. And so we're going to have to go there on the vessel, the feminine. Okay, and we get there, and there's no gold there. There's no treasure there. What we do find there is the luminescent substance of transformation. Okay. Now, what the unconscious gives us is substance, and what we provide is clarity. You know, so this is the substance to which the ego can provide clarity. You know, to create the third thing that can't appear in nature, which is the divine child. We are the manger in which the Christ child is born. You know, and Christ child can't be born unless clarity and the medium of expression and meaning meet with the substance of the image. And this transcendent function, I think that's really what the luminescent mushrooms are, since they're a medium. See, the mushroom does not change us. It is the medium that allows the permeable door in the psyche to open up and let visions in. You know, it's the medium. The visions and the images don't come out of the mushrooms. They come out of it is the transcendent function itself. So I think And the fact that they're luminescent mean that they're full of energy, you know, and it's a mysterious energy. You know, now Joseph Campbell used to say, we don't have to say, turn on the lights, I want to see my dreams. You know, they shine of themselves. So this luminescence, which only appears in the dark, so it only appears in the unconscious. So anyway, I have crossed the sea with my three friends, my three functions, you know, and that I'm the intuitive one. And so my other sensate, Mr. Sensate, Mr. Feeling, and Mr. Thinking are coming with me. And we are using this vessel of the feminine to get to the other shore. And there we find this magical forest, the realm of soul. And this is what we lack. We can't find that in the father world, the world of the conscious attitude. It's the world of Senex, you know, the old king. That's what we're escaping, is we're escaping the world of the conscious attitude, the old king. And so we go to this magical place of the middle realm of soul, which is always found in the Vale of Tears. It's never found up on the mountain peaks. It's found in the Vale of Tears, the valley. And so there in that place at night, we see we find the secret to create the divine child and to escape the conscious attitude and to let the new thing develop, you know, and yet we're not ready for it, you know, and we're not very well prepared for it. You know, our bags are packed, but they're packed with the instruments of the conscious attitude. The instruments, not only the conscious attitude, but the instruments, the idleness of the conscious attitude. So anyway, it is a glimpse of how this could happen. And it is such a magical place. I mean, I think the whole point of the dream is that we've had a glimpse that of the beauty and the ambience of this work. You know,
Well, there's
yeah.
something that, sorry to interrupt, but something that Roy said was really kind of standing out to me and making me think, because I hadn't really thought about it, but it strikes me that I was only interested in the dream in like acquiring this mushroom. Like I thought it had value. But it never occurred to me to ingest the mushroom in the dream. Like the thought never even crossed my mind. And so it seemed like multiple times that I could take the mushroom, but I was unwilling to. But also that like by ingesting the mushroom, it would have changed me, but I only wanted to acquire it. Anyways, what Roy said that struck me a little bit.
Yeah, and that is, we're not ingesting it. We just want to acquire it. And why do we want to acquire it? Do you have any answer for that, Ivan? Why do you want it?
No, I don't.
Just because it's valuable.
I guess, yeah.
It's valuable. Yeah.
Right.
Because it's valuable, anyone would want it. Well, anyway, how about Roy, Gary, Marina, Kevin, or Tim, or Dawn, any final remarks?
Yeah, just one comment on that, you know, because, you know, it already looked like you weren't searching for it with the right function. And so with that, you know, the wanting to possess it, but not wanting the transformation could be a part of the problem of the search as well. You know, not using the right function to find it, you know, because the experience would be far more valuable than the possession.
Yeah, I mean, this is a dream that's going to haunt me for days. Okay, Roy or Marina or Tim or Kevin or any following final comments or
Yeah,
Ivan?
I just want.
Go ahead.
Roy
ahead,
can
Kevin.
start perhaps.
No, go ahead, Kevin. Oh.
Yeah, I was wondering what you said. You brought a controller. What kind of game console was this?
It was a Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And I see. And how is this different from a Nintendo 64 or Nintendo?
It's sort of like a Game Boy. Like you can take it with you and play it.
Okay. Yes, it was. I don't really have something to. I just wanted to know. Thank you.
Sure.
Go ahead, Roy.
I just, carpe diem, man, carpe diem. It's an
Seize the
adventure.
day. Yeah.
I mean, next time you have another chance. If it was my dream, it'll come around again. Carpe diem.
Seize the day. And he, Ivan mentioned he had a dream right before that about about this fact that it's he's in the realm of someone owns it, but not him. So we're doing something in a kingdom that's owned not by us. Marina or Tim or Dawn, do you have any final words on that? Tim?
No, but I'm curious. In the chat, Roy said something about the dragon. Where did that come in?
Oh, I see. Don Marie asked about Ivan's, where's the dragon come in? The same question. It came in through me. I brought it in, but it didn't occur to Ivan.
Yeah, the dragon it would normally be some very instinctive. What would you say the dragon is, Roy? What were you thinking of?
Well, it's like he's with siblings. He's going from the father. He's with people at the bar. It's no individual here. It's no, okay, here's an opportunity. I'm going to, I'm at a crossroads here. What am I going to do? This is a very rare thing. There's some kind of anxiety. There's some kind of fear. He just blew it off. It's private ownership. I need to ask permission. But he didn't go down into the depths. He didn't go and try to find the depths of the anxiety, which is the dragon.
Yeah. Ivan, do you have any final comments?
No, that was great. I got a lot from this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I would say that I'm going to continue to think about this. And Tim, you usually come here with a dream, or if you wanted to defend yourself or say anything about we've all been talking about your dream. Do you have any comments on your previous dream, or do you have a new dream? Or?
No, but I really appreciated everything that you guys had said about it, and Roy sent a little email with some extra illumination that I just really thought was helpful. I've been wanting all week to do a little active imagination about that, and just haven't had the time to do it, but that's on my list. So
Yeah, well, I mean, you can see, at least for me, is these dreams, they don't go away, I mean, for me anyway, I just, people say when they read the Red Book, that they start having dreams that they hadn't had before, and it's because I think, anytime, especially in a dream group like this, or, when we're discussing the dreams, we're encountering unconscious material, which whether we had it or didn't have it is, it's going to awaken something in us too, But I mean, the whole idea was the sacrifice of the man about your own age in a stump by the waterway. I tell him he's going to have to be sacrificed. You have a knife, and he has a knife. So there's a sort of a fight. He's holding a cat by his side. It seems like I take them in pieces. I strike once but miss. I strike again, and then his guts spill out on the earth, and then have to strike the body, and that you're not at all traumatized by it. But I mean, that's such a powerful dream. But the idea was, I think that just to summarize it, is that it has something to do with the functions, which one is going to lead, and which one is standing in the way. And you know, there's just this idea of that that the thinking function, which normally would be in a dream would be represented by the anima if we were a feeling function, is somehow identified with the shadow. So anyway, did you have any final comments on that one, Roy, or not? Or
Yeah,
you-
well, I had an epiphany at like 5 in the morning. I couldn't go back to sleep. I got up and I wrote that piece.
Mhm.
But nobody talks about the pain body. Like that's a concept from Eckhart Tolle. And of course, Jung has this version where we repress things and we put it in the shadow. You have these different Jungian psychologists like Donald Kalschik who talk about uh, uh, narcissism, where there's a part of us, it's a child that we don't like. It might cause us a lot of pain or whatever, and we repress it and we forget about it. And it makes our life numb. And if we don't ever go back and heal it, we can't get to the next stage. We can't transform and discover our real self because we've left something behind. I haven't heard anybody discuss that, get into that subject, but it's very real to me. And so the man on the stump for me became the pain bone.
Well, and this is something we were talking about at the Sunday meeting, and I just about got it ready to post here, but which Gerhard Adler says is that only the person who's experienced the wound can have the energy of that, has the activation of healing within them. So if you've been wounded, then then healing is activated, but not until. So the reason they talk about the wounded healer is, and if you look at all the Asclepios, St. Paul, he lists all these healers who were wounded, and so in other words, no one can heal another person unless they've been wounded first, because then the counteraction to the wound has been awoken in them, you know, and now they can use that with other people too, not just themselves, you know. Roy, is that anywhere close to what you're talking about or not?
Oh yeah, that's the same concept, the wounded healer. You have to heal yourself before you can do anything. You're paralyzed once you get wounded until you go into that and heal it. That's how you learn about healing. And then
That's
you're
what you
healed.
mean by the pain body?
Yes. That's what you have to go into and acquaint yourself with it, even though it's painful and you don't want to do it. It's going to hold you back.
Well, really that, and this was what Agnella Jaffe said, that the only way of transformation is through loss and through sorrow and through defeats. She said very few people transform themselves through joy, you know, that because it's not lasting if they do. But if you transform yourself through deep wounds and deep sorrows and deep grief, which is usually the only way that the conscious attitude will ever give up and surrender, you know, its willfulness is.
Hey, on that topic, I just wanted to bring up this incredible moment that we are inhabiting right now. I did an interview this last week with an artist that was talking about this painful moment, and she suggested that with Skip in this other group, that we all take to doodling over the next couple of months and see what the collective is trying to bring out in the collective dream that is about this really pivotal moment in human history that I think is surrounded by the election and the coronavirus and, you know, the upheavals in democracy and so forth. It just really seems to me that this is a pregnant moment. And one thing I'd like us all to be aware of is how that is manifest in the dreams, how the collective angst is coming out in our dreaming. So maybe we can just think about this in the next few weeks.
It definitely, you know, is a time for introversion. I mean, you have to be a masochist to have the television on and watch the news right now. I mean, so it's a great time for introverts, both because of COVID and because of all the god awful news.
Right. We're in this moment where, gosh, with the fires and the election and all of the turmoil, it just feels to me like it's absolutely piling on top of us all at once. And suddenly, you know, RGB's death, it just felt like, oh, I can't take anymore. So I think here's this moment where the pain body becomes really, really evident, and we can stare into the maw of crisis and see what it is that we are supposed to learn from this.
It's usually a moment of rebirth, you know, when there is a great crisis, something is about to come into birth, you know, and so yeah, it's what, you know, the year in review is going to be very interesting on New Year's Eve. It's going to be really interesting. Does anyone have a quick dream they want to give us with 12 minutes left? Tim, do you have one? I usually are pregnant with dreams. Do you have any?
Yeah, I've usually got a bunch of them, but
yeah, we'll go right ahead. I don't know if we'll get to it, but I'd like to hear one.
Well, I've got to run to my sister's house, so I better go. But I'll be back next week, hopefully.
Okay, sure. All right. Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Tim. We'll see you later. How about you, or Gary or Roy? You have a dream you want to start? We can start on and then maybe finish on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, I have one kind of with that subject.
Yeah, go right
in
ahead.
mind. We won't be able to finish it today, but
well, no, but I just like to, you know, it really helps, I think, to hear authentic voices of the unconscious.
I had this dream Saturday night, and my synopsis of it is right on subject here, what we're talking about. But the dream, you wouldn't think I would have got it from that, but I did. Now, I dream of dead people a lot. I don't know if that's a common thing or not. And so this guy that died about last January, he's been in my dream 6 times. So I'm at this farm. It's not my farm, probably my father's farm. There's employees on it. There are my father's taking care of the farm. It's very well taken care of. There's a sewer plant where toxic things go. There's a courtyard where there's old sculptures, statues. There's lots of
what kind of yard? Statues. What kind of yard?
Courtyard of statues, sculptures. There's lots of fields and pastures, of course. I'm tending a few plants on this farm that I have in a greenhouse and a few of them outside. They need my care. I showed an employee one of the plants. It was an exotic plant from South America called a little orange plant. It looks like a tomato plant, but it's full of thorns. They make some kind of drink from it. I was supposed to go on a trip, but I don't know where I was going. But I had to go on this trip, and I was worried about who was going to take care of my plants. Then this dead person appears. His name's Al Brenner. He has some YouTubes. He's very happy to see me. He's smiling. He jumps on my back and I'm like carrying him on my back. And then I noticed, oh, he's so light. You know, he's so light. I woke up at that time. Now, this is what came to me out of that dream, and it ties in with what Kim was saying. I wrote it down. I'm going to say it exactly. If you work on seeing the problem in yourself and not the outside, then you would be motivated to work on the problem in yourself, or how yourself contributes to the problem. That is the way to find your way home. People say, welcome home, like you did in the 70s, the hippies. But what is home? And besides, the point is not getting home. The point, to me, is the obstacles preventing your progress towards home. And that obstacle is in yourself. So people, I felt like caring for the plants became an obstacle where I couldn't enjoy the trip. That's an obstacle for me. Everybody has obstacles.
Worrying about caring for the plants
was an obstacle for me. I had to care for these plants, and how am I going to do it if I go on this trip? But I had to go on the trip. So it produced anxiety. It produced a dilemma for me, which is an obstacle for me. Yeah. And people I do all the time, we come up on these obstacles, dilemmas, we project it in society, and we don't get anywhere. We're distracted because the obstacle's in us, and it'll have a physical manifestation to do with us, but we won't deal with it. We're going to talk about world problems, other people's problems, and that's what I got out of this dream. That's why Al was so happy. That's why he jumped on my back. That's why he was so light. He had died and he had seen this, and he was communicating this to me. It was an epiphany.
Well, I want to say one thing is I really, when Jung said, look at where Jung left. He was born in the Victorian age in 1875, and then he experienced World War I, which was an absolute shocking event to Europe, to have, what was it, 7-8 million people in just 3 or 4 countries die in 3.5 years, through the whole gas, machine guns, and everything else. Just one battle, there'd be 250,000 people die, and it was so shocking. And then after that, you had Picasso and Brancusi and James Joyce and Einstein and everything. And then comes World War II, and everything that happened there, and the rise of the party of Wotan, this, and the rise of fascists, in Italy and in Spain, and then communism in the Bolshevik Revolution in 1917. How much more god awful can you get? I mean, we think we got it bad now. I mean, but one of the things he said is, if the world is half wrong and half right, it doesn't mean that half the people are right and half the people are wrong. It means that every one of us is half right and half wrong. So what is it in us that's half wrong? Don't you think that's a little more important than what in us is half right? And so whenever you're having a dialogue with someone who maybe is on the other side or the opposite to you, what one thing we need to do is we need to listen to them. What is that? Alta parum, listen to both sides. That's what the lady, the blind, with their blinds on, holds the balance. Listen to both sides. So the idea is, here's sort of how I see I'm oriented in reality. How are you oriented in reality? And then what in me is wrong? You know, there's half of me is wrong. Half of you is wrong. You know, so I mean that's the way to healing. You know, and to lowering the temperature. Do we have to have the temperature white hot here? You know, is that necessary? I don't think it's helpful to have be on the precipice all the time. You know, both sides think they're about ready to fall into hell. You know, I mean, somebody's, I don't know. But I agree with you, Roy, too, is that what Jung thought the only way that there'd be an evolution of, or a change in the deep strata of culture would be to change one by one. You know, I mean, what they talked about in Sodom and Gomorrah, where I think it's Lot, or it was that Abraham was negotiating with God for Sodom and Gomorrah, and if I can find 1,000 just men, will you spare them? Yes, I will spare them. How about if I find 100? Yes, I will spare it. If you can find 100 just men. How about for 10? Yes, I will spare it. If you can find just 10. And what Edward Edinger says we should all live our lives as if it only takes one person. You know, in other words, that what Marie-Louise von Franz said is that change yourself. You can't change the world until you change yourself. You know, so I mean, in other words, to awaken the healing, changing thing in us before we can heal the world. You know, but anyway, that's getting neither here nor there. I don't like going there. You know, I really don't. I like to stay with the images. You know, does anybody else have any comments on this? Because I know it is a fairly traumatic. Either Marina or Gary or Kevin or Ivan or Dawn, and then we'll start with your dream, Roy, on Wednesday.
Certainly gives us something to think about.
Yes, if you can write it up and put it in, because you know, I try to write, but I'm not a very fast writer. I did pick up most of Ivan's, but he had to tell it to me a couple times. But
I'll have to put it in the email. I don't know how to get it on the.
Yeah, just email it to me,
Right.
Yeah.
and I'll email it or whatever. Gary, do you have any comments on?
Oh,
anything?
just that I just wanted to think about it some more. So yeah, if you could send the email, that would be good.
Okay. Marina, do you have any comments on anything on
No, thanks. That was good.
Okay.
I need to
Okay.
go back to sleep now.
Okay, well, you do that, okay? How about you, Kevin or
Bye,
Ivan?
everyone.
Yeah, good night, Marina.
No,
Right.
I need to time to think about this one.
Okay, all right. Dawn, if you have anything, I will make sure that, I hope I'm gonna have you on the, well, I haven't sent out an email yet, but I'm gonna send out a test email right now. And it's to Flutter. I think, did you get I'm going to send out an email right now and you tell me if you get it. Okay. Let me just see here if I can get it. All right. I just want to make sure I got it right. Let's see here. All right. Let me see, because I just sent one out on Sunday. Let's see. Okay, I don't know, what did I do with my glasses? Oh, here they are. Okay, so let's see. All right, let me make sure I got it here. Let's see. All right, I will make sure it. I do have it. It starts with Flutter, right, Dawn? I think I do have it. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to send a test email out, and maybe you can send one to me too, just so I've got it right. Let me write in my email address here. My email address, I'm going to type in the chat here. C. Nelson. what? It's not exactly the prettiest sounding email address. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay. I think that's right. If I can read it. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Well, mine, don't you think mine's kind of strange, Dawn? That's the one I don't use it for music, but I use it for business. But anyway, we'll have the session on Wednesday, and I think for the session that we're going to have, probably might be the last session on Gerhard Adler for a while, hopefully, because then we'll start on the Black Books. But anyway, thank you for everyone, and I will. Roy, you send your dream out, and I will try to make sure that that Dawn gets it. So anyway, thank you, Ivan. A very good dream. I'm gonna have to, if I sleep on it, I bet I'll come up with something else too. So So anyway, thank you everybody, and I'll see you Wednesday if you're available. Okay, bye now. Bye guys.